What up, you guys? Rasati out here in Singapore, and I'm back on at Night Owl Podcast, y'all. Thank you so much for all of your support, all of your love from all over the world. Loads and loads of people streaming in, and I couldn't be more grateful. So I'm just going to keep doing what I do, just keep on content creating. Honestly, you guys, hitting 800 was a big thing for me, and I've never really celebrated like, oh my gosh, you look at me. It's not like that. It's very quiet. And I feel good about that. The goal is still to hit 1,000 by the end of this year because I do want to. I want a big mile marker at this point, so I feel pretty good about that. I'm on track to do it. And yeah, obviously, as I have all of these thoughts, as I'm able to kind of put them down on tape, I feel like I am giving bits and pieces of myself. I'm like kind of archiving pieces of myself so you can see later. I mean, it would be interesting to be able to go back to the beginning, the way I spoke, the things I spoke about all the way back at episode 1 and 2, which I will have to do, by the way, as I go through and change all the thumbnails on YouTube because I think I could do better on YouTube. What do you think? So I'm going to go back and listen to all that stuff and pull out a quote or two, but it would be interesting to see how far I've come, exactly what my mindset was back then versus now, what the content creation process was like then versus now. I think it'd be really, really interesting. And to be quite honest, putting the podcast together has really evolved. It's changed over time. What used to be really simple, I just get on at the end of each day, kind of like, I'm still going to say this, it's like Run's house, right? It was Rev Run in his bathtub at the end of the night, at the end of the episode, talking about what he learned throughout the course of the day. So that was the concept I had in my head. The reason I called it a night owl. I wanted to kind of emulate this feeling I got when we were part of the Amway team back in the US, where we'd have like an info session or whatever. People get up and they present, they talk about stuff, talk about ideas, marketing, all that kind of thing. And once the whole section broke out and finished with the info session, the teams would break off individually and they'd go meet up at a coffee house or somewhere and they would have a night owl discussion, meaning to say that once you learn everything from the info session, you go back and kind of like hash it up. You'd talk about it, you'd pick it apart, you'd come up with other ideas and strategies for how you can build your business, and then everyone walks away feeling like refreshed, energized at the end of the night because it's very, very late. But they had like a game plan. They felt better about what they were about to attempt to do. So yeah, some of this is from MLM. Some of this is from, TV shows that I've seen over the course of the years. But ultimately, it's kind of evolved into its own thing because it started off as a very simple Facebook live audio, right? On my own business page because I was too scared to do it in front of everybody on my personal page. So I did it on my audio, on my business page. And then eventually, Facebook evolved and they stopped doing audios and then they started up again. And it was crazy. But because they don't allow us to do it on our business page anymore, now I'm in the situation where I get to audio record it on my phone with the voice recorder app and then adjust it, add in the intro and keep on going. So now it's not a night owl per se, although the concept still is. It's still a night owl discussion. I'm still hashing up stuff that, I've consumed along the way, and I'm trying to give it back to you guys in the most condensed, simplest form possible so you can understand it. And it's kind of changed. It's kind of evolved. This year has been very different from the way I've been doing it before. I know technically I should be closer to 1,000 than I am because I've been doing it for 3 years, but there were sections of time in that span of 3 years that I just didn't feel like doing the podcast. I was emotionally distraught because of some romantic nonsense that I went through, and I kind of just threw it to the side for a little bit. Whereas before I was very consistent. I made sure every night, we got online and we talked about whatever was going on, whatever was pressing in my mind at the time. So now it's more of a process of I'm constantly consuming lots and lots of content, whether it's posts on Instagram, which you will see in my stories, looks like an ant trail at the top of my stories, or it will be, commenting on other people's content, making sure that they see that I see them, that I recognize their efforts, that I encourage them somehow. And then I also find content in the process of that, that things that I need to speak on, things that I need to bear in mind or research more on later, like the Gottman Institute, or more on Seth Godin and so many people. Debbie Ford lately. I've been looking into Debbie Ford and the Dark Side of the Light Chasers. Things that Dean Ornish has said along the way. Who else? Deepak Chopra, obviously. Oprah. There's just so much content out there, and every one of them has something that I need to look into a little bit harder because I understand on the surface, but I know there's more to it when it comes to application. So these are the things that I'm contemplating at the moment. And because it's so much content, I find that I have aha moments throughout the day. And rather than write them down, I just jump on the podcast and create something real quick. So there are days where I've created like 5 to 7 podcast episodes and just launched them. And some days where I just can't find the words and I just let it go. I let it ride, and maybe I don't put out a podcast episode right away. So it's been a different process, but the thing is, the content is still coming from a good place. The content is still coming from things that I understand, things that I'm applying, things that I really think matter to me. So I'm hoping you're excited, you understand, you're enjoying the content. I'm still looking forward to some of you to be brave enough to drop comments. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, but it's all good. I'm going to put it out there anyway. And with all of that being said, I kind of want to talk to you about regret today. Because I have been going back over my life, my journey, right? Looking at going to 1,000 podcast episodes, growing through 1,000 followers, growing my, Twitter following, growing my business, now having a group, like it's growing. The presence is becoming more and more valuable and noticeable, and I appreciate that. But as I look back to see, wow, this is how far I came, I can't help but reminisce on the people that I started off the journey with, or people that joined me along the journey and then are no longer with me. And I'm not going to say I regret any of that. I'm not. I'm not going to say that, whatever falling out we had or whatever caused us to kind of go our separate ways, I'm not going to ever complain about that. I'm not going to say it was a bad thing ever, because I learned a lot of stuff along the way. It was necessary at the time, and maybe it was all that was meant to be. They say people come into your life for a reason, season, or a lifetime. And although we would love for all of them to be lifetime people, they're not. And it's okay, because they're meant to teach you something and get you out of your comfort zone at some point. They're meant to, agitate you to the point of action. And I'm cool with that. I'm really cool with that. To start off, I started off my whole coaching journey, that even the idea of being a coach came from the opportunity to be a regional vice president with Crown for Success. And as much as I learned from them and they pushed me out of my comfort zone, I would not have fallen in love with my voice if it weren't for them, to be very honest. I would not have fallen in love with teaching the way that I do if it wasn't for them. I started off doing meditations for them in a private group, and it was called Manifesting Queens. And then I wanted to contribute as much as possible. So I've done a couple blog pieces for them, and I also started off teaching classes on Periscope, y'all. So what do y'all remember about that? Yeah, I used to do classes on Periscope, and then from there it eventually became Facebook Lives, and I found a group of people that were doing something amazing by teaching each other how to just show up live on camera for 60 seconds tops. What can you say in 60 seconds? Trust me, it's a lot. That's an elevator pitch right there if you're really good at it. And so I want to thank American Real for, pushing me out of my comfort zone. I was really able to get on and interact with people, met some, friends for life through there, like really, really, really grateful. And Ebony Tortora was the one who introduced me to American Life. So that was really great. I had a chance to be interviewed by them. And of course, I was the first long distance interview they've ever done, because I did it from Singapore. They were in New York, and it was just, not New York, New Jersey. Binghamton, New Jersey. So that was kind of cool as well. I remember being really close with Profit Passion Academy, and I don't know what she's doing right now, but eventually we parted ways. And it wasn't on bad terms. We just kind of, grew apart. And that was cool too. We're all right. Every so often I do see her post and I do share as well. Gosh, 2 of my ride or dies, right? So Vanessa from Mint Worthy, and then Mia Tota from China. She's China by way of Serbia, but she has been a ride or die. She's been in the background for all this time, and I couldn't be more proud or pleased to call her a friend of mine, because we just vibe, y'all. I don't know what to tell you. We're doing the thing. Who else? Since then, I've met people like Cheryl Chapman, who introduced me to August Crenshaw, and August was a force to be reckoned with in my life, because she showed me what it could look like in a group if you had the right people around, and what the energy could feel like. Going live with her and being on a podcast so often was interesting to me, and I felt like, you know what, I could really do this on my own if I really wanted to. And she just set the standard for content creation. She was a machine when it came to content creation, but we also parted ways. There were differences of opinion, and I felt like it was time for me to move on, and that was cool too. Unfortunately, we don't speak that much anymore, but I will forever be grateful for the things that she told me and the things that she taught me. And then since then, it's been kind of, sporadically working on myself, trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. I got to thank all of my clients from overseas. So all my girls in South Africa, all of my clients in the US and Canada, Australia, New Zealand. I had a couple of people in London, and then of course my girl in China. I'm just really, really grateful. And then of course along came Empire Artists, and I'm so grateful for all the opportunities that have fallen in my lap because of them. And of course I'm still ride or die, just ride or die with them right now, and I feel really good about that. But to be able to expand my platform, to be able to reach out and speak to so many people. Oh gosh, It's Okay to Be Not Okay has been phenomenal. Meeting the production houses and really getting to know the Vasantham family. As quirky as they all are, I appreciate that because they keep pushing me. People keep pushing me. Insight Timer, the app, I've been really grateful to be able to work with them. And then, of course, Mad Bars, I really love working with them as well. I'm still promoting all that stuff. And I've had a tough time with exercise lately, but you know what? I'm about to get back on that train and really work the system as much as I possibly can. I think it's really great. I'm hoping still for partnerships with people like Lumosity because I believe in the product. But in the meantime, I'm having a really great time promoting local artists, local businesses, especially this love in the time of COVID kind of era. I'm trying to make sure that I promote as many people as possible because if we build the society that we need, the community that we need, the tribes will take over again. And I think it's really great to have that kind of support in the local community because like I said, I don't believe in regret. I believe everything happened for a reason. I had something to learn at the time. And for that alone, I have so much to be thankful for. I mean, when I first came to Singapore, I worked for Taste of Tradition. I don't really talk to most of the people there anymore, but you know what? We did the best we could. And I learned a lot about the Singapore community and what work was like here, what they expect from you, what the hiring, firing process is like, all of that. I learned a lot. Did a lot of party planning, event planning. That was really cool as well. And then moved to the Grand Hyatt. Thankful for them because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have met so many phenomenal people. And it would have been a shame because it's through the Grand Hyatt and the work that I did through the Grand Club that I got to meet a lot of people and actually start my coaching business there itself. It was not for profit at the time and it was not a licensed business at the time. But you know what? I feel pretty damn good about what I've been doing so far. And from there, of course, IQ Kids, Scholars Inc., Kindle Kids International, just a lot of great companies that did their best the way they knew how. And I learned to pick up skills in the meantime. So I got a chance to work with HubSpot. I got a chance to work with, oh goodness, there was another marketing company that taught us how to write Facebook ads that I'm really, really grateful for and just made a lot of really great connections. So reminiscing a little bit, definitely. But I can't say I regret anything because it's definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone. Right now, I'm getting ready to work with a couple of other businesses. I'm really grateful for, people like Steven Soundaraja and James Kumar for actually, putting in the time to create the intro in the first place. Just these people who see something in me and are willing to work with me a little bit and at least give me the benefit of their years of advice and experience. And I think it's just beautiful. I really, really appreciate it. So big shout out to everyone along the way since I left the US and have tried really hard to kind of find steady ground here in Singapore. And I regret nothing. I appreciate all of it. And you know what? If it was for every little piece that fell into place exactly the right time or fell apart exactly the right time, I definitely would not be doing this right now the way that I'm doing it. So I love you guys. And I hope you find a way to love your journey too. All of it, the mistakes, I forgot to shout out. I was working with a guy in India who was a really great graphic artist, but due to miscommunication and stuff, we fell apart. Manoj, wherever you are, I hope you're doing really great. I hope you're pursuing your photography a little bit more. But yeah, absolutely. Worked with SMGL for Singapore's Mobile Gaming League, and I was really grateful to meet a bunch of people there too. Just a lot of varied experiences in the 7 years that I've been here. And guess what? Every last bit of it has built me to who I am right now. And I couldn't be more proud. And I'm so excited for what's come next. So if you have any questions, if you have anything that you think I should dabble in further or experience or explore, please let me know. I'm open to new and improved ways of doing things as well. But in the meantime, I love you guys. And I hope you love your story as much as I love mine. I'll catch you soon. Bye.